Welcome to Align Christ-Centered Yoga. My name is Linda, and I'm going to be guiding you through your practice today. My daily Bible verse on YouVersion popped up, Psalms 59:16. But I will sing of your strength. In the morning, I will sing of your love, for you are my fortress, my refuge in times of trouble. So I went back to the entire psalm because context is everything. And this is a psalm of David. And it's a time in his life when he is terrified. Deliver me from my enemies. Deliver me from those who are after my blood. They lie in wait for me. I have done no wrong, but they are ready to attack me. They return at the evening, snarling like dogs. Right? But he finishes this with these two verses of praise. But I will sing of your strength. In the morning, I will sing of your love, for you are my fortress, my refuge in times of trouble. You are my strength. I sing praise to you. You, God, are my fortress, my God, on whom I can rely. Today, I would invite you to enter your practice in a spirit of praise, regardless of what's going on in your life today. As I was reflecting on this, I found a quote by Ann Voskamp that says this: the brave who focus on all things good and all things beautiful and all things true, even in the small, who give thanks for it and discover joy even in the here and now, they are the change agents who bring fullest light to all the world. The brave who offer up thanks and praise even in the midst of really difficult times. What are you thankful for today? Today we're going to do a hip opening practice, a practice of release, and I would invite you, if you have them, to get 2 blocks, a strap, and a blanket. If you don't, we can make do without, but I think that they'll just help you accommodate maybe tighter muscles and stiffer joints as you work through your practice today. Today we're going to start all the way down on the mat. So come onto your back. Just enter into that Shavasana pose. Head, shoulder blades, hips heavy on the mat, extending the legs long. And if you have a tight lower back, it's okay to bring those legs up to bend the knees just a little bit. So find this place that's right for you. As we stay here, close your eyes. Let go of the world around you. Draw your attention inward. Begin to slow your breath down, slow your mind down. Find your breath, breathing fully into the lungs, the rib cage, the diaphragm muscle. Exhaling, drawing the belly in, softening the rib cage, emptying the lungs. Let go of all of the things that are causing you fear or worry or anxiety today. Begin to think about what you are grateful for. So in this moment, what are you grateful for in your body? Gently bring your feet in. Give yourself a hug and just rock side to side. Find in this pose a pose of security. Massaging out the muscles on either side of the spine. Massaging out the back of your head. And then as you're ready, just let that left leg come down. Hold on to that right knee. Again, that left knee can be bent if that's better for your back. Tucking your chin, draw nose up to knee, and then release. And 2 more times here. Exhale as you come up. Inhale as you come down. Stay connected to breath. If you have a strap, go ahead and strap the ball of the foot just below the toes. Just hold on to that strap. Begin to really settle into the hips. So maybe bring that left hand to your hip. Just press that left hip down as that right leg rises up. Just find your hamstring stretch here. So there's no shaking, there's no struggle. Just notice where you begin today. Maybe just circle that leg on the ceiling. Begin to lubricate the hip joint. And go back the other direction. Gently hold on to the strap with that right hand, left arm out for balance. Bring that right leg across the midline of the body. So again, can you not rock the upper body? Keep those shoulder blades in place. Find that stretch, the iliotibial band from the hip to the knee, maybe from the knee down to the ankle. And as you're ready to release, just hold on to that strap, go the other direction. Again, maybe taking that left hand to hip, just reminding that hip to stay stable. That determines range of motion for that extended leg. Draw the belly in, bring the leg up. Let the strap go. Draw the knee in towards the chest and then out towards the armpit. So just coming out to that right side, bring the foot up towards the ceiling. And can you find a half happy baby here? So for some of us, it's just holding onto that thigh. Some of us holding on to the calf. Some of us holding on to the outside of the foot or 2 fingers to the big toe. Again, that left hand to hip. Just gently reminding that hip to stay down. Engage through the abdominals. Maintain the neutral curves of the spine. Stay here for 2 more breaths. As you're ready to release, hand to the outside of the leg, bring it in. Let the heel drop, knee to nose, tuck your chin. Bring that leg up 1 more time into the hamstring stretch. Just stay right here with it. And maybe if you'd like a little more, tucking your chin, nose towards the knee. Just contract through those abdominals and lift that body up. Let the upper body come down. Arms out to the side. Slowly bring that heel down to the mat. Stay here for just a moment, noticing the response of that body to that sequence. So maybe that leg feels a little longer. Maybe the hips are connected to the mat differently. Notice that you might be able to feel the difference all the way up to the shoulder blades and even in the neck. So let's repeat the sequence on the other side. Start by simply drawing the knee in. Again, bending this right leg if that's better for your back. Tucking your chin, nose to knee 3 times. Connect to breath. Go ahead and strap that foot at the ball of the foot. Flex the foot so the heel is reaching towards the ceiling. And straighten out the leg, even if that means that leg is coming away from the shoulders. Okay? So, the hamstring is working when it's contracting. So let's go ahead and release as we extend that muscle. Begin to just circle the heel on the ceiling. Just think about that femur bone just moving in the bowl of the hip. Go the other direction. And as you're ready, just gently bring that leg across. So maybe hold on to the strap with that left hand. Maybe that right hand just presses down into that right hip. As you're ready, slowly bring that leg up to center. Bring it out to the other side. Just going to find that range of motion that's right for you. Press down into that hip. On that next exhale, draw the abs in. Bring the leg back up to center. Unstrap the leg. And just hold on behind the leg. Bring the knee over towards the armpit. Press down with that right arm into the hip, the hand into the hip. Bring that left foot up and find your half happy baby. Where are you holding on? Just be intentional about it. It might be different on this side. Breathe into any places that feel a little bit tight. One more breath here. And as you're ready, just place that hand to the outside of the leg. Gently bring it back to center. Heel to hip. Draw the knee in. Nose to knee. And one more time, hands behind the hamstring. This time, let that leg come up into the hamstring stretch. Maybe you just settle here. Maybe those arms glide up. Tucking chin, nose to knee. Stay here and engage. One more breath. Gently bring the upper body down. Arms out to the side. Leg slowly comes down to the mat. Checking in again, noticing that this side of the body may feel longer than the other now. So that right side already going back to a more neutral position. Again, just noticing the effects of the stretch on the left side. The way that the leg and the hips are connected to the mat. Even the upper backs. Your neck. And then just gently bend the knees, draw them in. One more time, give yourself a hug and rock side to side. Hands behind the legs, draw the knees out just a little bit, and roll up, just sitting and back down, and just massage out that back. So back and forth, maybe 3 times here. As you're ready, come up to sitting and cross your legs in front of you. Find your sitting bones. Take your hands into your hip creases. Just gently let those hips go low and wide. Maybe find a little bit of release as the knees drop, maybe not. Nice deep breath in, arms rise high. Bring the inside of the hands together, forearms and elbows, tucking your chin. Draw your body down towards the floor. So for some of us, it's more comfortable and more supported to be up on a block. Right? So you decide what's best for you. Let that head come down, shake it out, no and yes. And then as you're ready, press into your hands and rise up. Bring that front leg to the outside, so it doesn't matter which leg it is. Go ahead and bend it one time. Again, just find your sitting bones, and then slowly just press that heel out. And find your range of motion. So for some of us, maybe supported by a block. From here, exhale, come forward. Inhale, come back. 2 more times here. Noticing what's going on in the leg, in the hip, in the back. As you're ready, come forward, settle in. Let the hips drop down, head down. Find a length all the way up and down the side of the body. Breathe in, breathe out. Take one more breath here. As you're ready, bring that outside arm to the inside. Sweep that left arm up, the opposite arm. We might be on different legs here. Go ahead and bring that hand over your ear as you draw the head down towards the leg. Inhale up. Exhale, find a gentle twist as that arm reaches across the leg or the foot. So, back and forth here. Connecting to breath. Guiding the movement with the breath. This time as that arm comes over towards the foot, just stay there. Can you anchor into both of those sitting bones? You're going to draw the ribs in underneath you. You're going to expand the ribs on the outside. Release, arm comes up, exhale, come across, stay here. Again, for some of us, it's going to be a little higher. What's right for you. Just breathe in and out here. As you're ready, release and come up. Take that leg behind you. Lift and lower that front leg. Rock back and forth. Massage out the glutes. So we're working our way towards pigeon today. So we're going to move into a half pigeon here. Let's warm up the back. Draw the head, shoulders, rib cage down and up. Back and forth here a few times. And as you're ready, let that knee come down. Hands to either side of the leg. Come forward. You can just support your head, maybe on the block. Maybe all the way down to the mat. Can you flex both of your feet? And can you find your stretch on the outside of that hip? As you're ready, press into your hands and rise up. Bring that back leg in front. Nice deep breath here. Reach the arms all the way up. Same sequence, other side. Inside of the hands come forward. Elbows together, come down towards the floor. Find whatever support you need from props. Let the head hang heavy. Begin to find the stretch in the outside of the hip. Pressing into your hands, rise up. Bring that other leg out to the side. And maybe start by bending the knee, slowly bringing it out. Decide if you'd like some support underneath that knee. Exhale, come forward. Inhale, come back. back and forth here. As you're ready, come forward and stay. Breathe in, breathe out, stay here. Notice why you came to this place. What stopped you? Is it your hamstring muscle? Is it your glutes? Is it your lower back? Just noticing. Breathe space into those tight places. As you're ready, go ahead and bring that outside arm to the inside. Open up. Bring that arm all the way overhead towards the foot. Bring it up. Gentle twist across. Back and forth here. Two more times here. Guiding and leading with breath. And just let that arm come overhead and settle. Can you anchor into both of those sitting bones? Find the release in the rib cage on that right side or the outside of the body. Inhale up, reach across. So in this gentle twist, just thinking about some of the trials in our life, and how has God showed his faithfulness to you in a recent trial? What are you thankful for? As you're ready, inhale, bring that arm all the way up and over. Bring that leg back so that you are in a pinwheel. Lift and lower that front knee. Add the body into it. And just whatever feels right for you, just trying to warm up and release the muscles of the back. And as you're ready, let that knee come down. Hands to either side of the knee. Bring the body forward. Find your stretch. Can you flex your feet? Can you lengthen through the thigh of the leg that is in front, drawing that hip crease back, imagining that knee being drawn forward. Can you grow a little heavier with the exhale? As you're ready, pressing into your hands, rise up. Bring your feet together. Find your sitting bones. If you have blocks, go ahead and bring them near. And just lift and lower those legs a few times here. And then as you're ready, hands to feet, solid on the sitting bones, begin to just let those legs draw down. So breathing in and out here. Inhale a little more length into that spine. And maybe if you want a little more stretch, you're just going to lean forward from the hips. So there's no bend at the waist today. Just letting those knees draw down. Thumb to the arch of the foot, maybe giving yourself a little foot massage. You can come up inside that top tendon. Massage out right at the base of the heel there. Maybe come to the inside of the bottom tendon. Begin to just let those knees relax. One more breath here. Hands underneath the legs, gently bring the knees up. Bring the blocks towards the front of your mat. Cross your legs comfortably in front of you one final time. Taking a deep breath in, draw arms up, exhale. Bring that left arm across that right leg. Find a gentle twist here. So as we think about a hip release, think about all the connecting points to the hip. It's over 20 connecting points, muscles, bones, tendons, ligaments. Just trying to release them all today. Come back to the side slightly. You're going to take this back arm, this right arm, forearm down. Gently walk your left arm forward. So you're just reaching towards the side here. Begin to find a stretch on the outside of the back and hip. Stay here with the forearm. Keep your back in place, but take your thumb to the hip crease of that back leg. Maybe you can just draw that hip down a tiny, tiny bit. Gentle and slow. Bring that arm back out again. Press into your hand. Rise up. Switch your legs. Deep breath in. Exhale, find a twist. Just a very slow, gentle twist here. Inhale a little more length into the spine. Exhale as the body wraps around. Stay here for 2 breaths. And then as you're ready, just bring that back arm even with your hips. Just come down to your forearm. So you're leaning, this other hip is lifted up. You're going to bring that right arm across. Can you find stretch on the outside of the back, all the way up and down the outside of the back on that right side? If you want a little more, maybe that right hand comes back to that hip crease. Just gently draw the hips down. Just find your edge, your stretch. And then extend that arm again. And as you're ready, press into the arm and gently come up. Come forward. Meet me in table. So fingers are spread wide, knees are underneath the hips, hands are behind the feet. Exhale, round up. Cat pose. Inhale, collarbone comes forward, back arches just a tiny bit, gaze is where the floor meets the mat in front of you. Cow pose. So back and forth here, cat to cow. 3 times. As you're ready, meet me back in table. And curling the toes under, draw the knees up and towards the rib cage. And find that first downward facing dog. So knees are deeply bent. Shake your head out, no and yes. And then just very gently stretch that right leg out a little bit straighter, heel closer, bend the left knee. Slowly both legs, heels rise, left heel comes down. Find that stretch, right leg bent. Inhale, heels rise. Right heel comes to the mat or towards the mat, finding your stretch. Inhale, heels rise. Switch legs. One more time, both heels rise. This time, both heels settle towards the mat. Find your downward facing dog. Inhaling, raise that right leg high, heel to hip, knee to sky. Keep the shoulders in place as the lower body opens up. That foot pressing towards the wall behind you. Releasing any tension in the neck. Inhale, bring that leg straight up to the sky, hips square to the front, gaze comes forward, contract the abdominals, and bring that foot all the way through. Hands to either side of the foot, maybe using props, maybe on your fists to provide a little wrist release. Let that back knee come down and up. So checking in, stretching the psoas muscle on that left side. As you're ready, that knee comes down to the mat. If you have a prop, bring it to the inside of your front leg. Drop your hips down just a bit. Front knee is going to stay over the ankle, toes facing forward. Bring your forearms to the block. So again, some of us a little higher up, some of us maybe all the way down to the floor. Can you press that upper arm against the leg into the arm, so the inner thighs are coming towards the center of the mat. Can you release tension in the jaw, in the forehead, in the shoulders? Stay here for one more breath. As you're ready, release. Press your hands into that prop or the mat. Come up, hands to either side of the foot. If you need padding underneath that back knee, and that's what blankets are for, you can always just bring that blanket underneath the knee if that works better for you. You can also roll up the back of your mat to provide padding. Go ahead and bring your hands to back towards your heel. Begin to draw the hips back, straightening and bending the front leg. So finding a hamstring stretch here. Can you move your hips straight back as if they were between two rails? We often have a tendency to swing the hips to one side or the other. And as you're ready, find your stretch, just finding that place where there's tension but not struggle in that leg. Notice where that left hip is, maybe draw it back towards center. Notice the difference in the stretch if you flex that front foot. Which stretch is better for you, foot down or foot up? Be intentional. As you're ready, release. Raise that back knee up. Bring the hands to either side of that front foot. Bring the front foot back. Find a strong plank. Stay here for 2 breaths. Let the knees drop down. Come all the way down to the mat. Find a Sphinx pose with those arms wide. Inhale up. Exhale down. 2 more times here. Come up, stay in your Sphinx pose, activate the pose. Abs in, legs strong, forearms pressing down. Exhale down, hands to the rib cage, come back through table to child. Meet me in downward facing dog. Notice downward facing dog, maybe a difference, right side to left. Let that left leg rise high, flex the foot, heel to hip, shoulders stay in place, lower body opens up. That left foot presses back, that left hip draws forward. As you're ready, come to center, leg to sky, gaze forward, abs in, float the foot through. If it doesn't get there, pick it up and help it. Let that back knee drop down and up. Back and forth here. And as you're ready, just let that back knee come down, finding that stretch in the psoas muscle. Finding a prop. Top of the foot to the mat in the back. Forearms come to the block. Again, or the floor, or whatever props you have. The nice thing about doing this is at home is you can be creative with props. Bring that outside leg pressing in, inner thighs drawing towards the center of the mat. Upper arm pressing in, creating traction. Two more breaths here. What else can you relax? Hands to the prop or the mat, gently come up. All 10 toes facing towards the front and back of the mat, no angles. Hands right at the base of the heel there, hamstring stretch, back and forth here. Front leg bends and straightens. How stable are those hips? Next time you come back, straighten out that leg. Notice, flex the foot, find the stretch, point the toe, find the stretch. On this side, which stretch is better for you today? Notice, is that right hip starting to come to the outside? Can you draw it back towards center, drawing inner thighs together towards the pelvis? And that next inhale, bring the knee over the ankle, bend that front leg, lift the back thigh up to the sky, front foot to the back, find plank. From plank, find your way to the mat. Maybe it's still a low plank, maybe you're in grasshopper, coming into low cobra. Hips to heels, find child's pose. As you're ready, curl the toes under, meet me in downward facing dog. Again, checking in, noticing. Notice the lines of the body, the length of the muscles. Where are you still tight? Where have you found release? Right leg lifts up high. Draw the gaze forward, bring the foot all the way through, rise up into lunge. Find a nice strong lunge. Stay here for 2 breaths. Bring that right hand to the small of the back, left arm across. Exhale your way into your twist. Find the traction from the back of the arm, the side of the leg. Who has supported you recently? Can you give thanks for someone who has supported you recently? As you're ready, release. Come to center. Bring the hands down to either side of that foot, maybe using blocks. Just begin to straighten and bend the front leg from here. So just a different hamstring stretch. And as you're ready, settle into that stretch. That leg comes back, hips reaching towards where the ceiling meets the sky. Head comes down. Release tension in the neck, shaking the head out, no. Shaking the head out, yes. Go ahead and bend that front leg, bring that back leg halfway in, and begin to just rock through your feet. So you're just rolling through the feet. Find your hamstring stretch here. Maybe you need to bend that front leg a little more, that's okay. From here, let that back leg rise up, hands to the floor in front of your front foot, needle pose. Open up, nose comes towards knee. Find a focal point on that wall behind you. And then as you're ready, just bring that leg down, feet hip width apart, bend the knees. First forward fold of the day, let the head come down, shake it out, no and yes. Lift and lower the hips. Hips rise, head comes down, find your forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhale down. Pressing through your feet, rise all the way up. Mountain pose, nice strong mountain pose. Take that right foot behind your left. So your big toes are together and your heels are apart. Let's go ahead and take the left hand to the hip, right arm to the sky. Come over, let that hip come out to the side just a bit. Can you find a stretch? Nice long, you're kind of making like a banana pose here, standing up. As you're ready, release. Mountain pose, arms rise. Exhale, forward fold. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhale down. Leave the left foot in front, take the right leg back in lunge. Sweep the arms behind you, rise high in lunge, find it here. Left hand to the small of the back. Right arm across that leg, deep breath in. Exhale, find your twist. Breathe in, breathe out. As you're ready, release, come to center, arms rise. And then draw the belly in, exhale, hands to either side of that foot, blocks if you want them. Straighten out and bend that leg a few times. Front leg is moving. And find that stretch. Again, noticing, do you naturally start to open up? Is that right hip lifting up? And instead, can it drop? Hip creases reaching back to where the ceiling meets the wall behind you. Bend that front knee just a bit. Bring that back leg about halfway up. And using blocks if it's better for you. Begin to just rock through your feet. Let the feet come down to the mat, nose towards the knee. Shake your head out no and yes. One more breath here. As you're ready, that back leg rises high, hands to the front of the mat. Breathe in, find needle pose, nose towards the knee, focal point behind you. And then just let that foot come back up to mountain pose. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhale down, bring one block near your feet and rise up to mountain. And this time it's that left leg behind the right. Hand to hip. Whoops. And that left arm reaches over, over, over. Again, lifting up and out of the hips, finding stretch all the way up the side of the body, releasing right at the hip there. Inhale. Bring those arms down. Shake your body out a little bit. If you have a block or a really sturdy book, bring it to the mat and step up on it with your right foot. If you don't have one, you can still do this. You just have to kind of float the other leg. It's not quite as effective, but it will still have some impact. So stay up on this block. Back here a little bit. And begin to just draw a circle with that left leg. So can you just kind of just relax through that hip? But you're anchored and lifting up on that right side. And then just let that leg go the other direction. You might find a little more balance with your arms out to the side. Maybe it helps you to have them in at the hips. Can you draw a figure 8 with that foot? Can you draw a figure 8 the other way with that foot? Wobbles are okay. Come off the block and come back to it if you need to. And then can you just swing that foot front and back? As you're ready, just let that foot come down to the mat. Move the block out of the way. Deep breath in, arms rise. Exhale, hands to heart. Close your eyes. Can you feel a difference on one side of the body after that balance stretch, balance sequence stretch? Release, shake it out. Other side. So, same thing. Left foot comes up. You're going to lift up and out of that hip. Block back just a little bit here. Anchor through the abs. Find that focal point. You need to just swing that right leg around in a circle. Find your balance. What helps? Where are you most balanced here? Go ahead and turn your foot in the other direction. Make a figure 8. Is one side easier than the other? Often, yes. Go the other direction. And then just swing that leg forward and back. And if you start to lose your balance, it's okay. And as you're ready, just let that foot come down. Again, finding mountain pose. Deep breath in, arms rise. Exhale, hands to heart. Close your eyes. 3 breaths here. Check in. And that next inhale, arms rise. On that next exhale, hands come down to the mat, forward fold. Final forward fold of the day. Stay here for 2 breaths. Hands to shins, rise up halfway. Exhale down, find your plank. From plank, come from child to table. And then bring your toes together, knees out wide, and find your child's pose here. So adjust, find the pose that's right for you, but can you find a bit of a groin stretch in the inner thigh? Take 3 breaths here. And as you're ready, press into your hands and rise up. Come into a pinwheel with your right leg in front, your left leg behind, and a blanket nearby. Bring that front leg parallel across the front of the mat and flex the foot. Bring that front thigh parallel to the side of the mat. Bring the back shin parallel to the side of the mat. Raise up with the body, take a deep breath in. Exhale, twist over just past this front knee and begin to walk yourself forward and find a stretch here. Go slow, find a stretch that's right for you. Support the head. Take 2 breaths here. Find release in that hip. Press into the hand and come up. So we're going to work our way into full pigeon here. Maybe it will help to have that block by that right hip. Hands in front. Just begin to walk that back leg behind you. Support the front hip if you need it. That front shin might be parallel to the front edge of the mat, but more likely that heel is beginning to come in towards the hips. That's okay. Back leg behind you. Try not to let the toes sickle out. Take a deep breath in on your fingertips. Look over that right shoulder. Stay here for a breath. And as you're ready, come forward into pigeon. So the body folds over. Again, support your head, whatever that looks like for you. Take 2 more breaths here. As you're ready, press into the hands and come up. Lift the hip up, move the blanket out of the way. Then rock back, bringing that back leg across the front. Left hand to hip crease, go ahead and bring that both hips down. Cartwheel that top arm, that left arm behind you. And find your twist here. That right arm is just underneath the leg, supporting it. Release, come center. Pinwheel the opposite direction. That left front shin, the left shin parallel with the front edge of the mat. Thigh parallel with the outside edge of the mat. The other shin parallel wide as well. Inhale, find some length. Exhale, bring that right arm just behind that knee and begin to come down here. Just find the stretch that's right for you. Go slow, go easy. Let the body get heavy, support the head. As you're ready, come up. And again, finding these poses that work for you. Maybe you don't go all the way into full pigeon. That's okay. Go ahead and bring that blanket nearby. Bring that front leg, just begin to extend it and bring it back behind you. Notice where the front shin is. Again, no rules here, just be intentional about how you set up the pose. Support underneath that hip with that blanket if that's right for you. As you extend through the spine, look over that left shoulder. Straighten out that back foot. And then gently come forward. Find a support for your head. Deep breath in, deep breath out. Find your pigeon pose on this side. How is this side different from the other side? Just notice. As you stay these remaining few breaths in pigeon, just letting go of anything that is weighing you down today. As you're ready, pressing your hands to the mat, gently coming up, lifting that back, the hip a bit, moving the blanket out of the way, rocking back, bringing the other leg across. Right hand to hip crease, gently drawing the hips down. Left arm underneath that leg, finding twist here. And as you're ready, release. Unwind. Feet are about hip width apart, hands underneath the leg, come down. Give yourself a hug, rock side to side. Hands to knees, gently bring the knees into the rib cage and away from the body, back and forth here. And as you're ready, one foot down and then the other, arms extended at your side. Bring the soles of the feet together, knees out. And as we begin Shavasana today, I would invite you to stay here for a few breaths at least. Holy God, we will sing your praises in the morning. Thankful today for whatever the day holds. choose to go ahead and lift those knees up and extend the legs into Shavasana. Stay here for another minute and then I will bring you out of it. Slowly and gently bring yourself back to this time and this space. Reconnect to your breath. Notice the way that your body has settled onto the mat. Gently begin to bring movement back. Wiggle fingers and toes. Rotate wrists and ankles. Turn your head side to side. Taking a deep breath in, draw arms up and overhead, reaching, reaching, reaching. Find length, and then as you're ready, draw the knees in. Gently roll over onto your side, supporting your head with one arm. Take your time. Pressing into your hands, come up to a sitting position, finding your sitting bones. Checking in, noticing alignment, body, mind, and soul. On your next inhale, arms rise, hands together in prayer, hands to heart, bowing your head, joining me in prayer. Holy God, creator of the universe, we are so thankful that you are so intricately and intimately involved in our lives. Jesus, Lamb of God, the one who takes away the sins of the world. We thank you for that unconditional love. We thank you that every day is a new day with new beginnings, full of promise. We thank you for your Spirit working within us and through us, bringing us joy as we walk through the trials of this world with you. It is in the name of Jesus the Christ that we pray. Amen. Thank you for joining me today.